now what we're getting into is we're going to go actually look at some of those earnings estimates, and I'm going to explain a couple of them to you. Obviously, this is something that you have to dedicate your own time to if you really want to understand it, but I can get you those baseline grasps. Alright, so the first place I go when I'm thinking of fundamental analysis is the Wall Street Journal's market page. If you're a subscriber to WSJ, that's great. If you're not, maybe I encourage it a bit, but there's also plenty of other really good ones out there. So now, the first thing that pops up is a stock quote just tracking Microsoft shares. As you can see, in the past 5 days, they've performed unbelievably, but that's more of a technical analysis thing. Obviously, you're going to combine the two a little bit. You're not just going to completely ignore the graphs, but what we're really concerned about with fundamental analysis is down here. As you can see, we've got our per share earnings and actual estimates, and then we've got analyst ratings. And so these are reflections of the bones of the company. These are analysts and financial experts deep diving into these companies' financial statements and saying, okay, this is where they're positioned, this is where they've been, and based off everything we know, this is where they are going, okay, as far as share price goes. So this is showing their per share earnings. So as you can see, Microsoft per share earnings has been pretty phenomenal throughout 2024 or 2023 going into 2024. They've been hitting these 2.32 per share in Q2, 2.45, and they've just consistently been increasing their per share earnings. You've got your analyst range, which is this blue part, your consensus, which is this middle part, the black bar, and then what actually happened. And so they've actually consistently been outperforming their consensus, and in Q1 of 2024, they're actually outperforming the entire analyst range. And then this is where it gets important, is looking into the future. So Q2 of 2024, the analysts are predicting them to just fall off just a little bit. And then Q3 of 2024, they're predicting a little bit of the same. Now that's quarterly. When we look at the annual, we see something that's much, much, much more promising for us, which is a consistent increase in your annual per share earnings for these Microsoft shares. You see them just go up and up all the way to a predicted 14.98 per share earnings in fiscal year 2026. Over here, you've just got analyst ratings, and you can look at that yourself. You can pause it, but obviously, you got the vast majority of analysts for Microsoft saying this is a buy. They're going up. They're doing great. Maybe you got a couple saying they're a bit overweight, and then you got a couple saying that they're a hold, that you don't buy them, you don't sell them, you just hold off on it, and then obviously no one is saying that you should sell Microsoft right now. So go ahead and familiarize yourself with this. I'll put a link to this in the bio if you're a Wall Street Journal subscriber. If not, find something similar. It's really important. Alright, so technical analysis is looking more at the price charts. It's assuming that everything's in the price. And there might be some truth to that, because some of the failures of fundamental analysis is it can't evaluate the hype of demand that might occur based off some sort of random Reddit trend, for example, like what happened with GameStop. It typically favors traders if you're doing technical analysis, and it looks at price action trends, which I can't spend too much time explaining these things. I encourage you to go into them, but more or less it's just looking at how has the price changed in the last couple of days, and how likely is it to snap back from its changes or skyrocket from maybe perhaps like former trends, and it uses technical indicators such as moving averages, which is just an accumulation of averages over the course of perhaps like 10 days, for example. It looks at oscillators, which is how far from a sort of baseline has the stock price deterred. Has it gone under? Has it gone over that sort of baseline? If so, it's likely to snap back close to it. That might determine whether you want to buy or sell. And then volatility measures. Alright, so what I've got pulled up for you is a stock chart from Yahoo Finance, and this is a great tool for conducting technical analysis if you're interested in it. Obviously, we're just getting you in at the grassroots level right now, so you're probably going to have to go and figure out a lot of this on your own. But I can introduce some of it to you. So what we've got right now is a 5-day view of Microsoft trading prices. Typically, reminder for technical analysis, we're looking more short term, so 5 days is a reasonable amount of time. I mean, you can go down as much as 1 day, and you can go all the way back to 5 years if you want. So as far as 5 days, Microsoft seems to be performing pretty well. You can see that it's grown reasonably robustly. It's had a little bit of a volatile day today. But diving into some of the technical indicators, some of the technical tools we can use. One of the first ones that's pretty important is a moving average. So we can set our moving average, we can set it to, let's say, a period of 50, and that's just a period of time within this 5 days that it's setting the averages to. So it takes a bunch of data points from that. And you can see that gives us a sort of trend line of the overall movement of Microsoft shares. And it gives us a better idea of, is it being overbought or is it being oversold? Where is that during certain times? And it's just good to see that one. Another tool that you can use is a beta. So a beta just simply measures volatility relative to the market. So it's going to pop up down here. It's going to tell you that Microsoft shares during this period of time, whatever was happening on the 11th, they were being significantly more volatile than the rest of the market. One would be performing in line with the volatility of the rest of the market. Above one would be performing significantly more volatile than the rest of the market. Whatever happened here, somewhere around 9:30 a.m. this morning, Microsoft shares were significantly less volatile than the rest of the market. So couldn't tell you what was going on with the rest of the market because it looks like they were being pretty volatile here, but the rest of the market was being even crazier, supposedly. So that's another tool, and then one of the other good ones is this MACD, the Moving Average Convergence Divergence. So you see there, you can set different periods. You got a fast and slow MACD, which I won't get into, but pretty much it's just taking that moving average and measuring how likely or how far it is. How far the share price is from that moving average. So it's just giving you a sort of an indicator of the oscillation going on. You'll hear that word a lot, oscillators in trading. So if it's far away from it, and it's been far away for a certain period of time, more likely than not, the share price is going to snap down back closer to that moving average. So, I know this might be a little bit much, kind of throwing these things at you right now, but that's what we have to do with the time we're allotted. So I strongly encourage you, if trading is something that sounds interesting to you, go find the proper courses, educational, preferably from, reliable resources. You are the ultimate discretion for that, but that are going to be able to teach you this stuff because it can be a way to turn a profit. So if this is interesting you, definitely look into it. As for this chapter, that is it, guys. Thank you for sticking with me, and I'll see you into the next one.